Jellicent is one of the best Pokemon designs from Gen 5, and in its debut generation, it was a very important member of the competitive singles metagame. Jellicent was ranked OU when Gen 5 was current, and remains a popular choice to this day. In later generations, it would lose that prestigious OU title, and never see such success again. But in Gen 5 OU, Jellicent fits perfectly as a defensive Pokemon with many advantages against common metagame threats. Let's take a look at why Jellicent works so well in Gen 5 OU, and why high-level players are still using it on their teams today. Like this video and subscribe to prevent Iron Fellow from becoming the new CFO of Goldengo Investments, following the recent disappearance of Iron Mugulus. Thank you. Although Jellicent's stats are a bit below average, it makes up for this in many other areas. Jellicent was the first Pokemon to ever have a Water Ghost type combination, and this typing is really excellent. Water has always been a powerful defensive type with its great resistances and few weaknesses, and with the advantages of Ghost typing on top of that, Jellicent thrives defensively. This Pokemon has the move pool to back it up too, with access to immediate healing thanks to Recover, 2 ways to apply Burn with both Will-O-Wisp and Scald, Taunt to disrupt enemy support Pokemon, and more options like Toxic and Nightshade to fill out its set. Jellicent is a versatile utility Pokemon. Jellicent not only has these great defensive qualities, it also happens to match up well against many common threats in the metagame, and tick important boxes for teams. Ghost types have always had the valuable trait of being able to block Rapid Spin, maintaining your hazards on the enemy field. And in Gen 5, good Ghost types are hard to come by. Gengar is occasionally used for spin blocking, but it is frail, and usually has a short lifespan due to poor defenses and no reliable recovery. In Gen 4, the Rotom forms all had an Electric Ghost type combination, but in Gen 5 they were each granted unique type combinations. Only the original Rotom maintained that Electric Ghost combo. You do actually see base Rotom in Gen 5 OU sometimes as a spin block, but with its poor stats compared to the other forms, it isn't a great choice. Jellicent is by far the best and most popular spin blocker in Gen 5 OU. Jellicent has access to the ability Water Absorb, which grants a complete immunity to water type attacks, and even heals you if you're hit by one. This is an amazing ability to have in a metagame where rain teams and Scald spam are common, and because of this, Jellicent matches up very well against Tentacruel, a common rapid spinner on rain teams. With a complete immunity to both Scald and Rapid Spin, Will-O-Wisp and Taunt to disrupt Tentacruel, and even Nightshade to annoy the substitute sets, Jellicent can be Tentacruel's worst nightmare. Some Tentacruel sets use Toxic to try and cripple the incoming Jellicent and wear them down over time, but Toxic can be hard to fit on Tentacruel, replacing other important options. Jellicent also blocks Rapid Spin attempts from Excadrill quite effectively. If Sand is on the field, Excadrill's Sand Force boosted Earthquake can be problematic for Jellicent, but some players have adapted to this by using Air Balloon on Jellicent to give it safe entry points against Excadrill. This also grants an immunity to spikes while the balloon is active, which is very useful. When Jellicent switches into an Excadrill Earthquake free of harm, it's in a great position, maintaining hazards on the field, forcing Excadrill out, which will rack up more hazard chip damage, and even earn a crucial Will-O-Wisp against whatever chooses to come in. The one rapid spinner Jellicent can have some trouble against is Starmie. Starmie is the most offensively oriented rapid spinner in the format, usually used on very fast-paced teams. Starmie aims to rapid spin approximately once per game and faint in the process to enable powerful teammates like Volcarona. It's also a fast threat itself with its powerful Stab Hydro Pump and Bolt Beam coverage. Starmie's Thunderbolt and Thunder can greatly threaten Jellicent as it comes in and attempts to spin block. Jellicent will struggle to face Starmie head on, and trying to block its rapid spin is very risky. Against Starmie, you'll probably need to let it rapid spin so you can have a free turn to directly KO it with something else, and try to stabilize from there. Because of Water Absorb, Jellicent helps out teams against the common Politoed and other fringe offensive water types seen on rain teams, such as Gyarados or Vaporeon. Most notably of all, Jellicent is an amazing check to Keldeo, one of the top Pokemon in the metagame. Jellicent is completely immune to Keldeo's water and fighting stab types, and can 1v1 most of its sets very easily. Choice Specs and Choice Scarf Keldeo sets are particularly bad against Jellicent, because locking into a stab move can be disastrous. Keldeo does sometimes use coverage to hit Jellicent. Hidden Power Grass Grass can be used to cover both Jellicent and Gastrodon, and Hidden Power Ghost can be used to cover both Jellicent and Latios. A good prediction with a Choice Specs Keldeo can give Jellicent problems, but the mere existence of Jellicent will keep Keldeo at bay, and make them think twice about abusing their powerful stab moves. With these great resistances and solid base HP and special defense stats, Jellicent can also function well as a check to Heatran and Volcarona. That Ghost typing really comes in handy against Volcarona, providing an important resistance to Bug. Because of its good matchup against Rain Pokemon and its ability to block Rapid Spin, Jellicent is a cornerstone of many spike stacking teams. One of the most prominent team archetypes in Gen 5 OU is something called Psy-Spam, a sand team built around abusing spikes and powerful psychic type threats. Alakazam is one of the best offensive threats in Gen 5. Alakazam was granted the ability Magic Guard in these games, which was a very significant buff. Magic Guard provides a complete immunity to all forms of indirect damage, including Sandstorm, Hazard damage, Poison and Burn damage, effects like Leech Seed, and many more. Alakazam is an amazing Pokemon on offensive sand teams for this reason, but Alakazam's biggest disadvantage is that it can be very easily trapped and eliminated by Tyranitar. Tyranitar commonly carries a Chople Berry to withstand Focus Blast and other fighting coverage. Tyranitar can not only 1v1 Alakazam directly, it can also eliminate the Alakazam with Pursuit if they choose to switch out. And that's where the idea of Psychic Spam comes in. Tyranitar can trap and eliminate a lot of common Psychic type threats in the metagame, including Latios, Alakazam, and Reuniclus. But what if you just use all three of these Pokemon on one team? Reuniclus is like a bulky version of Alakazam, also having access to Magic Guard and the same great coverage and offensive firepower. And Latios is just the best Pokemon in Gen 5. Tyranitar can't eliminate all of them, so if you throw enough Psychic types at Tyranitar, it will eventually fall, and your other Psychic types will be completely free to wreak havoc. All of these Psychic types are enhanced greatly by spikes, which help them rack up even more damage as they force switches, and Jellicent is the best Pokemon in the game at keeping spikes on the field by preventing Rapid Spin, while also shielding you from Politoed as it tries to re-establish Rain and other rain threats that might ruin your day. Taunting enemy hazard setters is also a great way to keep yourself ahead in the hazard war, and Jellicent is the perfect piece of the puzzle to enable these powerful hazard stacking teams. I think Jellicent is a great Pokemon design all around. Everything about this Pokemon was well considered, from its great visual appearance and name to all of its complementary in-game traits, that Water Ghost type combination, modest stat distribution, great ability, and versatile toolkit. This is a Pokemon that rose to prominence in competitive singles because of the unique problems that it solved in the metagame. It makes sense that this Pokemon fell off as things progressed, with the nerfing of permanent weather effects, the introduction of Defog, which reduced the value of spin blockers, and more ghost types being introduced over the years. But in Gen 5, Jellicent is a great presence in the metagame that can handle a lot of different jobs at once. Thank you to the patrons for your continued support, and thank you as well to everyone who has donated to my Gen 3 OU tournament, ADV Revival.
Oh, KO by one hit! It scattered spikes!
The money got different, cause of what I'm spending.